welcome back to the channel. Maybe you've been here before, or maybe you're new here. And if you're new, a quick intro, my name is Oliver. I've been an expat now in China for 7 years. And in this video, I want to tell you all of the things I love about living here in China as an expat, and maybe some reasons why you should consider moving abroad if it's something that you've been thinking about before in the past. Okay, so number one, friends. Well, you're gonna meet like-minded people. Let's use my example. I came to China, country I'd never visited, but I was brave enough to pack my suitcase, fly out, and just see what happened. So when you're doing this sort of thing, the friends you're going to find are going to be like-minded people. Everybody did the same as you. Everyone's in the same situation. It's very easy to make friends quick, make friends fast, and make very good friends because they're all like-minded, just like you. Everyone did the same thing. So for me, for example, I came here in like 2018, I think. It's been a long time. Young English man, not so young now, but I was back then. A young English man, no experience of the culture, never been to the country before, didn't speak the language. I was dropped in at the deep end, so to speak. But very easily, especially in Guangzhou, there's a big expat community. So very quickly, I found expats, and I found people with the same mindset that I had at that time. So if you go and live abroad somewhere, you will find people of the same mindset as you. So that will not that just doesn't mean you're gonna make friends. You're gonna make some of the best friends you ever had in your life. For example, one of my best friends here is unfortunately Scottish, and we can't help it. You can't win everything, but he is Scottish. I was back in the UK for Christmas, and he was back in the UK by this point. But his family had gone on holiday, and I don't know why, he left him behind, like home alone. So he came to stay at my house during the entire Christmas period. And then he went to live in Singapore, and he repaid that he bought me tickets for the Singapore Grand Prix. I flew over to Singapore, which is not a long way from China. And I stayed to this house, free apartment, free tickets, and that's the kind of friendship we have. So you come to China, you come to Guangzhou, you go wherever you want, you will find like-minded expats, and also you will make friends with the locals, of course, because you're going to be trying to learn the language, trying to get used to the culture. Making friends will be very easy for you. In Guangzhou, there's a massive expat scene. There's great bars, great things to do, great sporting scene. You're going to find friends quickly, and you're going to find the best friends in your life. So friends, number one, very easy to find, and it's absolutely wonderful. So you'll want friends. Okay, so the next one on this list, I think it's quite a universal thing, something you will experience if you come live abroad. I think number two is the food. China is so big, and as we know, it has some of the most delicious food in the world. But it's also so diverse. I live in South China, around here, in Guangdong, and they do Cantonese food. Well, that's vastly different to the food up north, and it's vastly different to the food in Sichuan, etc. So each region of China has its own kind of way to cook food, and own flavors, own ingredients, and own ways to cook. So China itself is so diverse, and living in Guangzhou, you get to taste so many restaurants, of course, and you get to get a taste of most of that. I mean, I've been here for 7 years, and I still haven't I've still not really tried the half of it. So I've got a lot more to explore in terms of food, and if you would like to see that, I can make some videos of that, of course. Maybe a hot pot video, dim sum, barbecue duck, dongbei, karo, barbecue video. So yeah, I still need to do more food, and I need to explore more. There's so much to see and eat, to be honest. So the food is something you will find when you live in a different country, different culture. It's something definitely to enjoy. But it's not just domestic food. Obviously, I live in a tier 1 city, like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou is my city, tier 1 city. So obviously there are lots of domestic restaurants, but also lots of great international restaurants. I've had some of the best international food ever had. I mean, I've been to Japan before, but my best bowl of ramen was actually in Hong Kong, and I still think about it to this day. Actually, that bowl of ramen was so good, but it was in Hong Kong. It was it's international. They were all Japanese, but they were living in Hong Kong. There was a Japanese restaurant in Hong Kong. So not only the domestic food is a joy, you're probably going to get better international food if you live in a tier 1 city. Aside from all that as well, the reason I love the food so much here is because it's increased my spice tolerance by tenfold. I mean, being English and just eating like pretty plain English food. English food's good. I mean, it's not that bad. It gets a bad rap, but it's not that bad. There's not a lot of spice in English food, European food. It's more rich flavors. But living in China, I had to get a spice tolerance and I had to get one fast. So also I thank it for that. I can now eat spicy food. I can now enjoy spicy food. So for me, food has been one of the best experiences about living in China. And I'm sure if you move abroad, it's something you will find too. You'll be very thankful because of the culinary experiences that you're going to have. Okay, so number 3, the third one on this list. It's one that's less universal, more subjective. This will definitely differ dependent on your experiences, where you go, etc. For me, living here in China, the cost of living is one of the best things about this country. I mean, I'm from England, and back home now the prices are crazy. Everything is rising. I mean, I haven't been home since 2019 because of COVID, and I actually went back to meet my family in Europe. They were all on holiday and we went traveling, and that was quite a nice way to see my family. But aside from that, I know the prices back home where I'm from, especially. I'm not sure about the rest of the West, but I imagine it's pretty similar. Prices of fuel, groceries, electricity, all these bills are getting higher and higher and higher and higher. But here, that's not happening. Here I can get a can of beer from, I know I'm English, so everything equates to how much does a beer cost. But I can get a can of beer from the local convenience store, of which I could open and walk around and drink, which is something else that's fantastic. But I can get a can of beer for maybe 10 RMB, which is about £1. I'm not sure, I'll have to put the prices here at euros, dollars and pounds exactly. But a 10 RMB can of beer here, I think it's a lot cheaper of what I could get back home. And also the cost of the electricity bills are cheap, the rent's cheap. So again, you've seen my apartment. I'll leave a mini box to my video here about my apartment if you want to go and see that. But I pay 5,000 RMB a month, and again I'll put the prices here of what that is in, you know, Western currencies. So I pay 5,000 RMB a month for that, and it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 balconies, etc. So for me, the cost of living here is absolutely one of the biggest selling points about moving abroad to a place like China. It's a place where you can get a good salary combined with cost of living. I think you can get a cheap cost of living in all the Southeast Asian countries, but can you get a big salary? That's another big selling point to come to China specifically. So big salary, low cost of living, everything is very cheap, and I can save more money here than I would be able to save back home. So cost of living, number 3. Okay, the next one, number 4. Again, subjective depending on where you go to, but for me, one of the best things about living in China is the lifestyle. To go back to my last point, higher salary, lower cost of living. As well, to add to that, the time at work, Monday to Friday, is not a lot. I don't work a lot of hours. Again, subjective depending on where you go, what job you have, but you can find jobs here where the actual working time is quite minimal. So that gives me a lot of time out, a lot of leisure time outside of work, of which I can, you know, do pretty much whatever I want to do. I can go to the gym as often as I want to. I can learn Chinese in my spare time. I've had enough time to do that. And yeah, so the leisure time is fantastic for me. Again, go to the gym, learn Chinese, go and see your friends, go and see your friends in the expat community, go to the bars, go and play sport. The leisure time and the time outside of work is vast, and there are lots of things for you to do in that time. So for me, absolutely, the lifestyle living here is above and beyond. Also, I eat more healthy here. I'll just add that on. Because the groceries are so cheap, I just go to the closest market, buy lots of fresh vegetables, lots of fresh meat, and I cook. I would say 85% of my meals, I cook them. I might order if I want to treat myself, but I will actually eat fresh, healthy food for cheap and cook it. So the lifestyle here, I think, is healthier than back home. I think I have more time here than I would back home. And I think I have a better social life here than I did back home. I mean, I do miss things like watching football. I do miss all the sports back in the UK. But here I can play them. I can go and do Muay Thai, which I'll talk about soon. Football, I can play quite easily. I'm sure I'll talk about it in the next point. So the lifestyle here is so much better for me. It's healthier. I have more time, more leisure time, more downtime. So for me, lifestyle is one of the best things about living in China. Okay, so moving on, point 5. Again, I just touched on this in the last point, but the gyms. Again, lifestyle, being healthy, exercising regularly. For me, the gyms are one of the best things about living in China, particularly. Again, I can't speak for other places because I live in China, but this is the first place where I tried Muay Thai class, for example. The first place where I tried boxing. There's so many gyms, so many different niches, so many things to try. It's just so good. For example, Muay Thai. I did my first Muay Thai classes here and my first boxing classes here. And I flew over to Thailand, which is like a 2-hour flight or something from where I am. Flew over to Thailand to just do Muay Thai for 2 weeks and then came back. So the gyms are just so good. I think it's the same with most major cities, but it's cheaper to do here. So I've had a good experience about working out, and I've tried different sports like boxing, Muay Thai, MMA, BJJ. There are so many things to try, and it's not daunting, it's not scary. It's just if you're concerned about going to do a Muay Thai class or something like this, it's not. It's just really fun, and it's more accessible here, so it makes it easier for a first timer to go and try. So for me, the gyms here is one of the best things I like about living in certainly Guangzhou, but definitely China. Okay, close to the end now. Number 6. Sorry, this is 6th. Number 6 now for me is the travel opportunities. Living, of course, in Guangzhou is a tier 1 city with a big airport, and you're so close to these countries in Southeast Asia. So I'm a very fast flight from Thailand or Vietnam, Singapore, as I said I went to before. So all of these Southeast Asian countries are on your doorstep, and you can get also not just the international travel, but the domestic travel is so good as well. The metro system is so easy to use. I know it has characters, of course, Chinese, but also has English if you're a first time coming to Guangzhou, it's your first time. So the domestic travel is so good, it's so cheap and easy to go to all these amazing countries in Southeast Asia. You can go for the weekend actually, so I went to Singapore for the weekend to watch the Grand Prix. That's how convenient it is. But not just that, domestically there's the bus routes, the metros, the e-bikes, so easy. And where I live, it's an hour train to Hong Kong. You have to cross the border, and Macau across the border. But I can go to Hong Kong and be there in an hour on the train. So travel opportunities when you live abroad, it's somewhere like China, is a massive advantage, and it's for me one of the best things about living here. Okay, number 7. For me, this is, I think, absolutely very subjective, but I'm not sure about other places, but certainly in China and certainly in a tier 1 city like Guangzhou, which is not as popular as Shanghai, not as popular as Beijing. So maybe this is very particular to Guangzhou, but it's the further job opportunities you get just for being an expat. For example, it's just economics. There aren't many foreign people in Guangzhou. There are great expat crowds, but there aren't many expats here. So you can get given a lot of, let's say, different opportunities to make money. For example, to try and give an example, I've done acting, modeling. I'm just an average looking guy, nothing special about me whatsoever. But you can do acting here because you're a foreigner and there aren't many. You can do modeling for people who want you to endorse a product because you look different. It's just simple. There aren't many foreigners here. I've been in commercials before. So all these different jobs I never thought I would do, I've earned quite decent money on the side just by being a little bit different to everybody else and being here. It's a city with a lot of money. There's Guangzhou, and there's a lot of rich people in Guangzhou, a lot of big companies, and a lot of these companies want you to endorse a product, be in a commercial, do a tiny bit of acting. All these strange and exciting jobs I never thought I'd do. You have the opportunity to do here. So yeah, number 7 on my list is the strange and weird jobs I never thought I'd get the opportunity to try, that I have tried. So that's number 7, job opportunities. Okay, the last one on the list, again, very subjective depending on where you go, but for me, the weather. Obviously, South China, near Thailand, Vietnam, all these places, it is hot, and I mean hot. It can be a negative if you don't like hot weather, but on the days when it's clear blue sky, it's sunny, and there's a swimming pool near my house, you cannot wish, especially being English, where it rains all the time and it's great, and people say, oh, we've had 2 days of summer. So especially being from that place, coming to this place and having almost a perpetual, never-ending summer, that's a big positive. I get a lot of sun, I get a lot of vitamin D, I can go to the pool. So very short and sweet, this one, but the weather for me personally in these places is a massive, massive positive. Okay, so that is my list for why I love living in China personally, and why you should consider making that move if it's something you thought about in the past. It's just go and do it, experience it, and grab life. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you, or maybe even motivated you to go and try it yourself. I don't know. Well, that's pretty egotistical to think this little video will help you do that, but maybe so. I just hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you took some value from watching this, and I hope that it made you think about making that move if it's something you've thought about before. So once again, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to like the video, that would help. Subscribe, that would help. But I'm not going to force you to do that. That's your choice. That's your prerogative. And I just dropped my light on the floor. That's where the green has gone. So with that, I'm going to end the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.